This is my video journal. It's not intended to be advice or guidance. I'm just expressing what I'm thinking and feeling in the present moment. And I wanted to share some insights around professional qualifications and education and, career paths, because I think no one really talks about it pragmatically and practically. They're just, there's this abstract idea that you need some kind of qualification to have a future. But it's like, I don't know, when I've actually walked the path, it hasn't been what I kind of expected based on all of those cliches that teachers and parents and other people throughout your life say to you. Like, I've got a bunch of qualifications now, and I'm quickly learning that it's not about the piece of paper that you have. The pieces of paper are important in their own way, but they're not what you kind of perceive them to be when you're at the earliest stages in the journey and it's all abstract to you. You're like, there's this idea that like you go and you get a particular qualification and then you go and get a particular job. But I'm looking at all this stuff. Like I just got a certificate 4, which is the level below getting a diploma in Australia. And then after your diploma, you can go on to your advanced diploma, and then you can go on to your bachelor's degree, which is like university level. So there's like a pretty clear hierarchy to it, like the way that you develop your skills and knowledge in a field. But then if you actually look at the potential career paths, this might be boring as, but I just feel like no one talks about it. You look at the potential career paths of like the different qualifications that you can get. As you like ascend that hierarchy of qualifications, so at a certificate 4 level, you don't have a lot of options. It's pretty much like you're getting this certificate to do this thing, and it's quite clear. But it's also not the coolest stuff in the world. Like you don't get the best jobs, you don't get the best money. Like nothing really amazing happens at Cert 4. But if you went up and got like a degree or beyond, then your opportunities expand outwards, and you can do like 50 to 100 different professional jobs. But just because you got that piece of paper doesn't mean that you have the specialized knowledge or the expertise in that field. So it's really, you're at the beginning again, over and over again. And I think it's like a little bit of false advertising, because, and I totally understand why there's people out there that are like they just study and they just keep getting qualifications and they keep learning, because they can't see like there's not a path. Like it's just more and more knowledge and understanding, and there's like, I don't know, there's like certain experiences as you're doing these different courses and stuff that are practical, and you can see like, I could go get this job, I could go get that job, but you're never actually prepared for anything based on the academic side of things. So it's, yeah, I don't know. This is just what like is emerging right now as I'm thinking through it. Because like, I always had the sense that just because I get a piece of paper isn't going to do anything. But now I'm kind of understanding what my intuition was actually saying. It's not like getting a piece of paper isn't going to do anything at all. It's just that it's just an ingredient in the cake. Like it's not the whole thing. It opens doors for you, and it allows you to engage in activities and workplaces and all kinds of things that you wouldn't otherwise be able to. But it doesn't actually, like, it's not this linear thing where you go study and then you get a job and then you get good money and then you get a bunch of promotions and then you are the CEO of a company or something. Like, it's just like this childlike concept of like what life's going to be like, that we kind of, when we're growing up, we make all these assumptions and then we kind of don't revisit them, and we're just like kind of expecting that everything's going to show up for us. But it's so much more complex than that. Like, you got to make choices and you got to take risks, and you've got to figure out how to use your skills and knowledge to create opportunities for yourself. Like, and this is me talking, like, I know I could, like, with the pieces of paper that I got now, I could just go get a job and that could be my job. And I think that's okay for a lot of people. But it's, if you're watching my kind of content, it's because you're looking at that and you're going, that's way too simple. It's like way too boring. Like, I don't want to just like get the qualification, get the job, and then do the job. And like, I don't know, do the standard like thing that you're supposed to do, buy a house, have a couple of kids, retire. Like, you want something more and you're looking for something more. And I think what it is something new. Like, you don't want to just like fill a role that already exists. Like, you don't want to slip into like a position that's already been created. Like, we're imaginative people. Like, I'm talking really broad now, but I feel I'm an imaginative person, and I don't want to just like, for one, I think that a lot of the way that the things that I'm studying and interested in, I look at the way that it's being done, and I think it's not being done very well. So, like, I don't want to go and get a job in a system that I think is wrong. But then, like, you have all these realizations, like, so what are you going to do? You're going to go keep studying and get a PhD and like be the expert in that field and then change the field. Like, that's huge. Like, and then like there's this whole other side to my understanding of society and our places in it. Like, don't even go and play a game that's failing. Like, create a new game. Like, find a new game. And that's like the other side of things. It's the holographic kinetics and just my own brand and my own YouTube channel where we share alternatives to mainstream mental health, and we share success stories and people that are doing things differently. And we do challenge the mainstream narrative. So it's like, how do you like balance all of this? Like, how do you feed yourself and pay your bills? Like, the way that I've been doing that, honestly, is just keeping my expenses really low. Like, I don't buy clothes. I cut my hair myself. Notice I had a haircut. I just keep things really simple, and I don't spend money. And right now, where I'm living is really cheap. It's a really cool agreement, renting like half a house, and just keeping everything simple. And I've always done that, but it's like, it's just weird. Like, if you want to really do what you really want to do, you can't settle, but you also can't avoid the game. Like, you've got to find a way to make money in the world, and it just takes like huge amounts of creativity on your part. I feel like that's what it's been for me to just get to where I am now. Like, I've just had to take huge risks and sacrifice so much, and like depend on people as well, count on people, and that's even hard in itself. And I still feel like guilt and shame around that, like that I've, like, I don't know, it's ridiculous to think that, like, I like to think that I have value, but the way that everything is it's very easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you don't. Like, if you're not making a lot of money, and somebody else who is playing the game 100% and they've got a career job where it is like that linear progression, and there's no real like creativity or future in it, there's no like personal growth, it's just like the like proper way that you're supposed to move through the world. Like you make good money, you get your promotions, and your job doesn't really get more rewarding or more fulfilling, but it pays more, so that's good. Like when everybody's doing that around you and you're kind of just like wearing the same clothes that you've had for like years and all that kind of stuff, it gets to you. It can get to you. It doesn't really get to me anymore because I've committed to it. But I also don't want people to think that that's it. Like I see this constant investment in yourself and investing your time in developing skills and knowledge and investing time even in just dealing with your own emotional blocks and challenges and healing yourself. Like, I don't know, I tell people all the time that it's going to be worth it. But like, I'm still at a point where I'm like that last stretch that I feel like I've been on forever to the finish line of like, and like this finish line that doesn't even exist, but you feel like eventually, but it does exist. I am beginning to really see it. Like there's a place in the future, and it's not that addiction to being somewhere else thing that people are always like talking about. So much of the memes and personal development crap on the internet is just like circles. It's just like this stuff over here tells you work really hard and develop yourself, and this stuff over here tells you there's no point because if you're not happy right now, then you'll never be happy. And people are just like taking the pieces that they want in the present moment to avoid themselves. Like, so I'm not doing that. I genuinely do see a future, and I have built it out of like trial and error and like endurance and like intent, commitment, perseverance. Like I have everything that I need now, and I can, as I move through and I do create this new career for myself that is like tailor-made for me, everybody else is going to be like, I wish I could do that. And I'm going to be like, I wouldn't recommend it to anybody. Like just go do the linear thing, go get the simple qualification and the simple job and get a few promotions and buy your house. Like just do it the easy way. Like honestly, but like there's a certain point where you get through it and you're just like, I have to keep going because I've sacrificed everything and I've spent so much of my life like trying to be free and trying to create this lifestyle where I get to be the boss. I get to be the one who chooses what this is all about, and I get to tailor my experiences. I get to tailor like how I make money. I get to figure all that out. It's a big puzzle. It's a big game, and like sometimes it brings you to tears. Sometimes it feels like you're never going to make it through it, but then you do. You make it to the next thing. And the next little, like something will show up, and it'll be like a little wink from the universe. Like you can do this. Like look, you just did like the next really big important thing. It's wild. But like another thing that I always think about, and I'm not even sure if this is true, but I always think like it doesn't have to be this hard. Like I feel like I've made it harder for myself. Some people just like walk straight into, as it's coming out of my mouth, I'm like, that's not real. But it seems that way. It seems like people just walk straight into the world and they go, I want to create a life for myself and this is how I want it to be, and they just nail it. It looks that way. And it's probably going to look that way when I finally pull this off, because I've been like privating all of my older videos as I've been going along. So man, if I put everything on public, like all the way back to the beginning, like thousands of journals, and it was just like, you could really see how lost I was. And how, like, for example, how I was looking at these like whiteboard models, like screenshots of like whiteboard models of my ideas for how to become successful and how to make enough money that I could do everything that I want to do. And there's a real old one, and me and my friends were laughing about it. Like I sent it to a few people, and it's just like, basically, it's not even a model. There's a bunch of like words scrambled all around the whiteboard, and then in the middle, it's got like YouTube, and it's got like get lots of views and then get money. Like it was just that naive, absurd idea. And like now that like this part of the journey, I'm like, well, YouTube really isn't ever going to be the center of everything. Like YouTube is really just for lead generation at this point. It's like marketing. It's making people aware that you exist, and then like, what are you actually going to do once you have people's awareness? And that's like, it's taken me so long to figure all that out. Like, if you're still looking at the internet and thinking like, I want to be a YouTuber or I want to be an influencer, and you think you're just going to get a bunch of attention and then sell a bunch of shitty products, that's not going to be fulfilling. I don't know why you'd be watching this if you were thinking that, but like, I know like that's a path, and it's been there the whole time. Like, I could have just made a whole bunch of videos. I know the videos to make. I know the videos that will get like ridiculous amount of traffic every single day. And I know the kinds of products that I could sell with those kinds of videos, but I know that it's out of alignment with me, and it wouldn't be good. It wouldn't be the contribution that I want to make to the world, and it wouldn't actually benefit anybody. It definitely wouldn't benefit me, because I'd be feeling so many shitty things, like depression and anxiety, and just beating myself up, like hating myself because it's not like what I really wanted to do, and I like compromised myself. So I have this like real blessing and a curse with like integrity, because I want to do what I want to do. I don't want to compromise. I don't even want to do like simple sponsorships that are like semi in alignment with my brand. Like, I don't want to do any of it. I just want it to be pure. I want it to be like what it is, and I want to help people find their own way without projecting anything onto everybody either, which is a whole nother thing. Like, I'm not trying to all I really want to do is inspire and empower people to figure out the solutions to their own problems. And that's not something that you can put in a box and sell to somebody. And that's like the whole reason why it is like this, because I'm like looking at everything and I'm like, how do you do this in this like ecosystem where we're rewarding everybody for lowering awareness, and we're rewarding people for chasing addictions, and we're rewarding people for being victims, or like staying stuck or having excuses. Like, it's just a mess of all this stuff. And it's like, it's almost like people don't want, like, we're so heavily conditioned and programmed and constantly bombarded with all of this nonsense that we don't even want the help to pull ourselves out of it, because it's easier to just be in the noise and in the shit. Like, I've even been there, like not long ago. I'm still like, sometimes like just want to take it all back and just go back into the matrix and forget about it and just, I don't know, do whatever. And it gets easier and easier to fall back on that now, especially with all these qualifications that I was talking about. Like, I could just go get like a really cushy job now at this point. Like, it would be so easy just to coast for the rest of my life. And like, I don't even know if that would be a lose for me. Like, if I could just like I've contributed, I've tried, I've had all these insights, and even if I did go and get like a mainstream kind of job, I would still do it my way. Like, but it still feels like a compromise. It still feels like there's something more here. And I know like we can't all think that we're going to change the world, but you know that saying, the people that are going to change the world are the ones that, no, if you're crazy enough to think that you can change the world, you'll be one of the ones who actually does. Something along those lines. Paraphrasing all the quotes these days, nothing is going to be the actual source quote. So when you try to Google it, you won't be able to find all these sources, which is funny. I want to try to not do that too much. But yeah, it's just insights. It's like, it's just what I'm thinking and feeling. It's what I'm trying to wrap my head around. And as I try to wrap my head around it, I express what's going through my awareness, and hope that that helps somebody else have some thoughts and feelings about these things. Like, it's just creating a space for it, really. Creating a space for us to look at ourselves and look at these particular aspects. This is what we're looking at today. Like, how do you have a career? What are qualifications? What am I going to do with my life? Really though, like, I'm not just going to talk shit about like this huge dream that's totally abstract and I have no idea how to get from here to there. Like, let's look at some steps. Let's look at what I actually want to look at. And I feel like you can't figure it out. You can't make a plan like, I want to do this and I'm going to go get XYZ qualifications and I'm going to go study here, I'm going to go work experience there. You've got to like just take a step towards something that feels good and interesting. Like for me, mental health peer work, the reason I chose that as a professional like or mainstream qualification was because I looked at it and I was like, that looks like the least out of alignment. Like that looks, out of all the mainstream stuff, it looks like what they are saying in the training that they're providing is that people are the experts on themselves. And yeah, sure, they can go see a psychiatrist, a psychologist, and all these mainstream services. But what we want to do as peer workers is we just want to be present with them and support them to make their own choices. I'm like, that's brilliant. That's really what people need to do. And then like find ways to connect with more meaningful aspects of what it is like being a human being. So, and I just moved in that direction, and I hated every minute of the study, and I hate doing all the questions and answers and being assessed. But like now that's another piece of the puzzle. That's another tool in my arsenal, and it's another thing that I can wave around so that I can get access to more possibilities. So yeah, I'm just saying like nothing is going to be, there's not going to be a degree in being you. Like there's not going to be a degree in your hopes and dreams. Like you, or like there's no job for that. There's no path for that. Like if you really want to do what you really want to do, it's going to be a puzzle, and it's going to be a really intense one. There's going to be so many ups and downs, a total roller coaster of figuring it out. But the options are always there. Just like go and like do what you're supposed to do. It's possible. So yeah, that's my thoughts and feelings for today. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button for me, leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my website, kailivs.com, and I'll see you again very shortly.